Today, we're ranking the most popular state park in every state. No national parks, no Yellowstone, Rocky Mountains, Grand Canyons. However, some of these places are hidden gems, some are absolutely massive, and a few might surprise you. And before the comment section body slams us into the dirt, some states were really hard to pin down. So if you think we got one wrong or missed a better park, tell us what your state's best park is in the comments below. Alabama, Gulf State Park. Coastal park with white sand beaches, marshes, and lakes along the Gulf of Mexico. This park has a fishing pier over 1,500 feet long, one of the longest in the Gulf Coast. Alaska, Chugach State Park. A massive wilderness park filled with glaciers, mountains, forest, and alpine lakes. It is one of the largest state parks in the entire U.S., bigger than some countries chewing on the map. Arizona, Slide Rock State Park. Desert Canyon Park with red rock cliffs and oak creeks running through it. The creek naturally carved a slippery rock water slide so people can actually ride on down. Arkansas, Petite Jean State Park. A mountain forest park with waterfalls, canyons, and scenic overlooks. It features a Cedar Falls, a waterfall dropping about 90 feet into a canyon basin. California, Point Lobos State Natural Reserve. While a natural reserve does limit the activities that you can do on it, this rugged Pacific coastline with cliffs, coves, and cypress forest is absolutely stunning. Sea otters and harbor seals are commonly spotted right from the trails. Colorado, Cherry Creek State Park. A prairie grassland centered around a large reservoir near Denver. People regularly sail, jet ski, and kayak around with mountain views looming in the background. Connecticut, Hammamet Beach State Park. A large Atlantic shoreline with sandy beaches and salt marshes. It is the longest public beach in Connecticut. Delaware, Cape Hemmeline State Park. Coastal dune, beaches, forest, and an old military lookout. Visitors can climb a World War II observation tower overlooking the ocean. Florida, Blue Spring State Park. Freshwater spring and river ecosystem surrounded by subtropical forest. Hundreds of manatees gather there during the winter because the spring water stays warm. Georgia, Stone Mountain Park. A forested park centered around a giant granite mountain near Atlanta. The mountain has one of the world's largest rock carvings etched into its side. Hawaii, Walianapanama State Park. Tropical coast park with volcano cliffs, sea caves, and black sand beaches. The beach sand is naturally black because it is formed from cool lava fragments. Idaho, Farragut State Park. Forested mountain park on the shores of Lake Penoral. During World War II, the site trained tens of thousands of Navy sailors. Illinois, Starved Rock State Park. Cannon River Park filled with sandstone bluffs, waterfalls, and wooded trails. Seasonal waterfalls appear dramatically after heavy rainfall or snowmelt. Indiana Dune State Park. Sandy Lake Michigan shoreline with dunes, forest, and wetlands. Some dunes rise nearly 200 feet above the lake. Iowa, Backbone State Park. Rugged forest with limestone ridges and the Macoca River. It was Iowa's very first state park, established in 1920. Kansas, Clinton State Park. Prairie grassland park surrounding a large reservoir. Bald eagles are commonly spotted there during the winter months. Kentucky, Natural Bridge State Resort Park. An Appalachian forest park with cliffs, sandstone arches, and mountain trails. The Natural Bridge rock arch stretches about 78 feet across the canyon. Louisiana, Fontainebleau State Park. Lakeside Swamp and Marsh Park on the north shore of Lake Pontchartrain. The ruins of an old sugar mill still stand inside the park. Maine, Popham Beach State Park. An Atlantic beach park with dunes, tidal rivers, and rocky coastlines. At low tide, visitors can walk across the sand to a nearby island. Maryland, Sandy Point State Park. Chesapeake Bay Beach Park with fishing, boating, and shoreline views. On clear days, you can get massive views of the Chesapeake Bay Bridge looming over the water. Massachusetts, Nickerson State Park. Cape Cod Park with pine forests, kettle ponds, and bike trails. The park has 8 freshwater ponds formed by retreating glaciers. Michigan, Tahquamenon Falls State Park. Northern forest wilderness with rivers and massive waterfalls in the Upper Peninsula. The falls are nicknamed the Root Beer Falls because the tinnis from cedar swamps turns the water a deep amber-brown color. Minnesota, Itasca State Park. Dense pine forest filled with lakes and headwaters of the Mississippi River. Visitors can literally walk across the beginning of the Mississippi River on stepping stones. Mississippi, Buccaneer State Park, a Gulf Coast park with beaches, marshlands, and camping areas. The park was rebuilt after Hurricane Katrina devastated the area in 2005. Missouri, Haha Tonka State Park, the Ozark Lake and Forest Park with caves, sinkholes, and cliffs. The ruins of a stone castle overlook the lake from a hilltop. Montana, Great Springs State Park, a spring-fed river park with clear water and prairie surroundings. Spring pushes out thousands of gallons of water every minute from the underground. Nebraska, Eugene T. Mahoney State Park, woodland recreational park near the Platte River with lakes and cabins. It has a huge indoor water park and aerial rope course inside the state park. Nevada, Valley of Fire State Park, a desert landscape filled with red sandstone formations and ancient petroglyphs. Some rock formations look like they are literally on fire during the sunset. New Hampshire, Hampton Beach State Park, an Atlantic beach park with sandy shorelines and oceanfront camping. It's one of the few places in New Hampshire where you can camp right beside the ocean. New Jersey, Liberty State Park, urban waterfront park on New York Harbor with skyline views and green spaces. The park gives you one of the closest land views of the Statue of Liberty outside New York itself. New Mexico, Elephant Butte Lake State Park, desert reservoir park with beaches, rocky hills, and boating areas along the Rio Grande. It's the largest state park in New Mexico and one of the best places in the state for stargazing because of the dark skies. New York, Watkins Glen State Park, Forest Gorge Park with waterfalls, stone bridges, and narrow canyon trails. The main Gore Trail passes 19 waterfalls packed into less than 2 miles. North Carolina, Jordan Lake State Recreational Area, the large reservoir park surrounded by pine forest, beach, and campgrounds. It's one of the best bald eagle nesting areas in the state, especially in winter. North Dakota, Fort Abraham Lincoln State Park, a river valley park with reconstructed military forts and Native American history sites. You can walk through reconstructed buildings once commanded by General Custer. Ohio, Hocking Hills State Park, forested canyon park with caves, waterfalls, and sandstone cliffs. The dramatic caves and cliffs are carved primarily by water erosion cutting through blackhand sandstone over thousands of years. Oklahoma, Beavers Bend State Park, pine forest and river parks in the Washita Mountains with lakes and cabins. The Mountain Fork River is clear enough for trout fishing year-round. Oregon, Silver Falls State Park, dense rainforest canyon park famous for waterfalls and mossy trails. You can walk behind multiple waterfalls on the famous Trail of Ten Falls. Pennsylvania, Pymatuning State Park, a massive lake straddling Pennsylvania and Ohio with wetlands and fishing areas. The park is famous for its fish literally crowding a spillway and walking over each other. Rhode Island, Muscamacut State Beach, oceanfront beach park with wide sandy shorelines and surf. It's one of the most popular swimming beaches in the entire state, despite its small size. South Carolina, Huntington Beach State Park, a coastal marshes, beaches, and wildlife refuge areas. You can often spot alligators in the freshwater lagoons near walking trails. South Dakota, Cluster State Park, rolling hills, granite peaks, and prairie lands filled with wildlife. It has one of the largest free-roaming buffalo herds in the world. Tennessee, Fall Creek Falls, mountainous forest park with deep gorges and waterfalls, home to one of the highest waterfalls in the eastern United States at about 256 feet. Texas, Ray Roberts Lake State Park, a large reservoir park with prairie grasslands, forests, and hiking trails. The park contains part of a 20-plus mile Greenbelt corridor, a popular trail system for hiking, horseback riding, and kayaking along the Trinity River. Utah, Dead Horse Point State Park, high desert canyon park overlooking the Colorado River and Red Rocka Mesa. The overlook drops about 2,000 feet straight down to the river below. Vermont, Smuggler's Notch State Park, mountain forest paths with narrow cliffs and winding roads through the Green Mountains. Huge boulders in the pass once hid smugglers avoiding trade embargoes in the early 1800s. Virginia, First Landing State Park, coastal forest and beach park along the Chesapeake Bay. English colonists first landed nearby in 1607, heading to Jamestown. Washington, Deception Pass State Park, a coastal island park with forest cliffs and turbulent saltwater channels. The bridge stands about 180 feet above the swirling tide currents below. West Virginia, Blackwater Falls State Park, an Appalachian mountain forest park with rivers, waterfalls, and deep gorges. The river appears dark because the tannins from the fallen hemlock and spruce needles stain the water. Wisconsin, Devil's Lake State Park, glacier-carved lake surrounded by steep quartzite bluffs and forests. Some rock formations in the park are over 1 billion years old. Wyoming, Hot Springs State Park, a geothermal park with minerals of hot springs and colorful terrace formation. The spring water stays around 128 degrees Fahrenheit year-round before being cooled for public soaking pools. And that will do it for the best state parks in every single state. If we got one wrong, let us know in the comment section and tell us why it is the better state park. And as always, make sure to like, comment, and hit subscribe.